You just ate lunch. You had a sandwich on white bread. It's time to go back to work. You feel tired. You have brain fog. All you can think about when you get back to work is, can I get a coffee? Can I get a little sugary snack to keep me going for the rest of the day? I think a lot of us think of this as, hey, it's just part of getting older. But what I'm going to share with you in this video is that it's not just part of getting older. It's part of the blood sugar crash cycle. And I'm going to talk all about it. In this video, I'm going to teach you why regulating blood sugar in your bloodstream is so important, what the blood sugar crash cycle is, what it does to your body, and what you can do about it. Hi, I'm Dr. Stephen Gabriel. I'm a metabolic expert and a board certified physician. And this is one of the most important topics that affects your day-to-day health, your day-to-day living, and your metabolism overall. The other thing I love about this topic is that there's 3 easy things that you can do to have a dramatic effect on it and start feeling better in just a few days. So the first thing that I want to talk about is, what is blood sugar? Why does it matter? This gets thrown around a lot. So in your body is the bloodstream, what I like to call the river of life. This is what is supplying the trillions of cells in your body nutrients like oxygen and glucose. Glucose is another word for sugar, and getting rid of waste products like CO2. And it is critical that the river is functioning well, and what is inside the bloodstream is all within balance. One of those things that needs to be in balance is blood glucose. And that range stays between about 70 and 100. And your body does an excellent job of keeping it in that range. Too high, and it begins to damage the blood vessel walls, making it not as effective at moving those nutrients into your cells and getting the waste out. Too low, your brain senses it immediately and panics because your brain completely functions on sugar or glucose. And it sends a signal to start eating if it senses your blood sugar is low. So as soon as you eat, the blood sugar rises, and the main system that controls it to get it back into balance is from your pancreas, and it's the hormone insulin. Insulin rises as the blood sugar rises to try to keep the level not from going too high. There's another system in your body that raises it, but I'm going to hold that off for another video. And so what happens here is your pancreas produces insulin. If too much sugar comes in, the pancreas releases a lot of insulin to try to deal with it. And so overall, this is the system that we're trying to keep regulated. So now let's talk about what is the blood sugar crash cycle now that we have talked about how this works. Here's the blood sugar crash cycle. We eat food like white bread, refined carbohydrates. We have a diet that includes ultra processed foods, and all of this system begins to come out of balance. A hormone that I've talked about in another video, GLP-1, it doesn't work well, and our pancreas doesn't work well if we're eating these other kinds of foods and not exercising at all. And what happens is we eat these foods, a huge surge of glucose comes into our bloodstream far over that 100 number, 110, 120, 150, 180, even in healthy people. The pancreas panics because it has one job: keep the blood sugar normal. Just like any of us, when we get behind, panic, we overdo it a lot of time at the last minute. The pancreas overdoes it, surges a huge amount of insulin to solve the immediate rise of blood sugar. The glucose comes down and comes down rapidly. it now goes below the low end of the threshold, down 70, 60 into these lower numbers. Now your body panics again. I've got to get the blood sugar up. Your brain is starving for sugar now. And now you feel like I've got to eat something sugary. I've got to try to keep my brain working in another way, caffeine. And so you're trying all these tricks. The result of this is you feel terrible. It's hunger, cravings, brain fog. I got to go to bed. I can't even sleep when I go to bed. I got to eat something sugary. And this has been shown recently, especially in the Western world, with these types of processed foods, that up to 88% of people are experiencing this. The second thing that really is a problem with the blood sugar crash cycle is inflammation to the blood vessel walls themselves. As I was saying, it's really important that we keep the blood sugar in a specified range. And so if it gets too high and it gets too high chronically, it begins to create inflammation to the blood vessel walls themselves. And why that's important is, if you can imagine, this is a river going through your body, delivering nutrients, offloading waste products to get them out of our body. If the walls of the blood vessel are damaged or inflamed, what will happen is it can't do this exchange well. In addition to that, inflaming the blood vessel wall begins to create damage. And I think this will make sense for a lot of you, is as the damage happens, this is what begins to create plaque in the blood vessel wall, creating even further damage and resulting in metabolic diseases like heart attacks and strokes, and really just not feeling well. So the next thing is, why does all of this matter? And the reason why it matters is, as we have big spikes and crashes of our blood sugar, it creates progressive insulin resistance. And what that means is, as the system begins to go up and down, and the pump, the pancreas itself, begins to produce a lot of insulin, it begins to get tired over our lifetime. Just like pumps that you have at your home, as they keep going and overdoing it over the lifetime, they don't function as well. And when it doesn't function as well, it can't do its job of balancing out the glucose in our bloodstream. And therefore, the average level of blood glucose keeps getting higher and higher, causing more and more damage to the blood vessel walls, causing all of these diseases that we're talking about, in addition to weight gain, diseases related to aging, like I talked about, things like heart attack, stroke, dementia. And so this is critical to get rid of this. The next thing that happens is just chronic low-grade inflammation everywhere. And this obviously is a problem in itself. I'm going to go into the third thing, which we've been talking about in a lot of the videos, which is GLP-1 dysregulation. GLP-1 dysregulation is the hormone. If you want to go back to the video that I did a couple of weeks ago, GLP-1 is the metabolic maestro, the master, so to say. As soon as you eat, this hormone is released into your body. And if you have blood sugar spikes and crashes, you begin to disrupt GLP-1, and this causes problems in your entire metabolism. Weight gain, further blood sugar spikes and crashes, diabetes, as I said, heart attacks, strokes as we get older because of blood vessel wall damage. And the more concerning thing about this is the flywheel effect. So you begin to have blood sugar spikes and crashes. You begin to disrupt your GLP-1 hormone. GLP-1 hormone being disrupted causes worse blood sugar spikes and crashes. And this progressively gets worse and worse over your lifetime, resulting in all kinds of health issues, if you can imagine, over your lifetime, and just feeling terrible in general. Hunger, cravings, obesity, lack of energy, brain fog. So, getting this under control, the blood sugar crash cycle, is critical to feeling well and staying well. So I think the next most exciting part is what you can do about it. And the reason why it's so exciting is that the things you can do about it are things you can do today, begin to have huge effects just over the next few days. There's not a lot of things you can change in your metabolism so quickly than the things you can do for the blood sugar crash cycle. So, the number one thing that you can do is change the order of the foods that you eat. It has been shown that if you eat protein and fiber first, you dramatically affect the carbohydrates that you eat later in your meal. As a matter of fact, it's up to a 37% reduction in the blood sugar elevation just by eating protein and fiber first. And some ideas for that protein, I think a lot of people think of meat, but there's also fish, there's also vegetables, there's also beans, there's protein in all of this. So eating that early is better. Fiber is things like fruits, vegetables, beans, lots and lots of fiber, blunt the glucose spike and prevent that huge spike up where then the insulin is chasing it, causing the huge drop in glucose. The second thing you can do, and I think this is one of the coolest things I've read in a while, it is the effect of a 10-minute walk after eating. The reason why is because you're using your legs. The muscles in your legs are the biggest sugar sinks in your body. Here's what I mean by the word sink. They use a tremendous amount of sugar because the muscles are so large that if you think about it, your pancreas's job is to get the sugar down. If you start using your legs after you eat, the leg muscles begin taking lots of sugar out of the bloodstream. And this can be done with just a 10-minute walk, not a 10-minute run, a 10-minute walk. And you know what? If you get close, 5, 6, 7 minutes, also a huge benefit. Sometimes when I'm working from home and I don't have a lot of time, I'll just go up and down the stairs a few times after eating because I know what a huge benefit this is on preventing this sugar spike, sugar crash, take pressure off of my pancreas. The third thing you can do is get rid of the refined carbs. This is the high fructose corn syrup that is in sugared cereals, that is in candy, in white bread, white rice. This is stuff that was completely designed to spike your glucose, give you a huge dopamine surge, which is what I talked about in the last video. It feels good. It's hyper palatable. The problem is this stuff is not natural. There's nothing natural that spikes your sugar as quickly as refined carbs. And if you can imagine that it's not natural, our pancreas has never been designed over thousands of years of evolution to be able to handle such a big sugar surge. And so as soon as it sees the surge of sugar from these refined carbs, the insulin spikes like crazy, resulting in a drop like crazy. And that's why we all often feel so much brain fog, sluggishness, and just kind of an odd feeling after we have these refined carbs. So if you can just change the order of your food, do a 5 to 10-minute walk after eating, and get rid of refined carbs, the effects are dramatic and the effects are quick. It's just in with about 3 days that the blood sugar crash cycle begins to change dramatically. But I think even more importantly, the hunger, the cravings, the midday crashes begin to go away quickly. And that's why I think this is so powerful. So here's really what the key takeaway is from this. The takeaway is that the blood sugar crash cycle is real. This is biology. This is not, hey, you're just getting older. You can fix it, and you can fix it quickly. I'm Dr. Stephen Gabriel. I do 2 videos a week on metabolism, topics just like this. If you like this topic, other topics like it, things you can do, easy things you can do to begin changing your physiology, your metabolism to feel like your younger self again, hit subscribe down below. Next week, I'm doing a video on insulin resistance, an amazing topic, things your doctor would miss on labs about this, and some signs about this that you can pick up quickly before the doctor that's helping you might see them. So it's going to be a super interesting topic. Click the link below to get subscribed. In addition to this, I did a Beyond Metabolic assessment. It looks at your metabolism from 6 different angles. It takes about 10 minutes. It's free. It's personalized. It gives you things you can take action on right away to fix the things that are going on with your metabolism with you. I look forward to seeing you in the next video.